Your engine is choking violently at every single red light. The vehicle shudders aggressively when you step on the gas. A terrifying raw fuel smell floods your cabin daily. Your mechanic plugged in a scanner and smiled greedily. He blamed your sophisticated fuel injectors for the misfire. He demanded an $800 ransom to physically remove them. He claimed ultrasonic cleaning was the only possible salvation. But there is a $3 liquid in the auto aisle. It permanently strips choked fuel injectors from the inside. It completely restores the microscopic fuel spray pattern instantly. This raw chemical operates flawlessly while you commute. No paying a technician to rip apart your fuel rail. No waiting days for ultrasonic bench testing results. Just one $3 bottle of advanced thermal chemistry. Just a nearly empty gas tank and the open road. Why did that mechanic confidently quote you exactly $800? They never physically extracted your delicate fuel injectors. They performed 0 microscopic flow tests on the nozzles. They simply saw a misfire code on a cheap scanner. They immediately handed you an orchestrated financial penalty. This is a brilliantly designed corporate repair mechanism. The fuel injection service industry is a coordinated syndicate. They siphon millions from terrified commuters every single month. They engineer these modern microscopic nozzles to eventually clog. Cheap gasoline is flooded with unstable olefin filler compounds. These compounds are mathematically guaranteed to bake into carbon. The powertrain warranty expires exactly when the nozzles choke. This engineered fragility is a mathematically perfect profit trap. They need your engine paralyzed by a rough idle. They weaponize your lack of fluid dynamic engineering knowledge. Your mechanical panic actively funds their expanding corporate empire. They treat a microscopic carbon shadow like a total explosion. They mandate a complete physical extraction for a chemical blockage. Every single component they touch bills you $150 hourly. They force you to purchase ultrasonic labor completely unnecessarily. They sell you an elaborate illusion wrapped in technical jargon. Your fuel injectors have not fundamentally shattered into pieces. The internal electromagnetic solenoids are perfectly intact and firing. They are robbing you, blind over a millimeter of soot. This orchestrated labor trap is their most lucrative asset. The authentic chemical remedy was deliberately suppressed decades ago. It originated in the brutal, high-stakes world of endurance racing. The year was 1986, on the grueling Le Mans circuit. Massive turbocharged racing engines ran at maximum redline continuously. The extreme 24-hour heat aggressively baked the fuel injectors. Carbon soot quickly choked the microscopic fuel delivery nozzles. Engines began sputtering and violently losing horsepower mid-race. Pit crews could not physically remove fuel rails during competition. They could not waste 30 precious minutes ultrasonic cleaning injectors. A choked injector meant losing a multi-million-dollar championship. They required a miraculous, instant metallurgical cleaning protocol mid-flight. Racing chemists deployed a highly classified, extreme temperature chemical compound. It was a concentrated, pure polyetheramine liquid detergent. Mechanics dumped this raw chemical directly into the racing fuel. The heavy liquid circulated directly into the screaming 1,500-degree cylinders. It performed flawlessly under the most terrifying thermal pressures imaginable. The hardened carbon was permanently stripped away in seconds. Racing engines instantly regained maximum horsepower and sustained speed. This $3 chemical saved multi-billion-dollar motorsport racing dynasties. But as fuel injection entered consumer cars, corporations watched closely. Corporate executives realized this classified chemistry was a massive threat. Big Auto systematically erased this polymer technology from civilian manuals. They aggressively lobbied to classify fuel additives as cheap snake oil. They orchestrated a brilliant smear campaign lasting 40 continuous years. They understood the chilling mathematics of the automotive aftermarket completely. You cannot justify an $800 flagship injector replacement repair. You cannot keep thousands of dealership service bays fully booked. If a simple $3 chemical permanently strips the microscopic blockage, they chose staggering corporate profits over proven racing engineering. They kept this motorsport secret locked away from you. This channel is an underground syndicate of factual mechanical resistance. We are dismantling the corrupt automotive cartel piece by piece. Next week, I will expose the engineered engine ticking scam. I will reveal the $4 chemical that cures lifter noise. Do not let this vital survival blueprint vanish today. Hit that subscribe button immediately to join the active resistance. You must actively participate in starving this corrupt financial system. Every single view hemorrhages money away from predatory automotive dealerships. Do not dare click away from this specific educational video. Your strangling engine relies entirely on the next 2 minutes. I am giving you the exact classified racing chemical protocol. The industry is actively attempting to strike this forbidden knowledge. They pray you remain an obedient, financially paralyzed consumer forever. They need you completely helpless to fund their massive empire. Stay right here and secure your total mechanical independence today. What is actually failing inside your choking internal combustion engine? Your sophisticated engine relies on microscopic electromagnetic fuel injectors. These metal valves sit directly above the blazing combustion chamber. When you drive, a computer fires these valves incredibly fast. They spray highly pressurized gasoline directly into the hot engine. This spray must be a perfectly atomized, microscopic, invisible mist. This fine mist burns instantly, creating smooth and massive power. But modern commuter gasoline contains cheap, unstable hydrocarbon filler chemicals. When you turn your engine off, extreme heat radiates upward. A tiny drop of raw fuel remains on the injector tip. The intense engine heat literally bakes this drop of gasoline. It turns the liquid fuel into a rock-hard carbon crust. Over 80,000 miles, this toxic crust completely covers the nozzle. The microscopic fuel holes become choked with hardened black soot. Without proper flow, a devastating physical chain reaction instantly begins. The injector can no longer spray a perfect, fine mist. It begins to violently squirt a solid, heavy stream of raw fuel. This solid stream of gasoline cannot physically burn fast enough. It heavily floods the cylinder and violently washes away oil. This creates the terrifying engine, shuddering, and massive power loss. Your fuel injectors have not physically shattered into pieces. The internal electromagnetic coil is perfectly functional and structurally intact. Your engine simply contains a chemically strangled fuel delivery nozzle. It desperately requires a specific thermochemical stripping agent immediately. Mechanics leverage this specific physical phenomenon to orchestrate a heist. They point at the Misfire code as absolute proof of destruction. They claim your injectors require a catastrophic, invasive surgical removal. They treat a dirty nozzle like a hand grenade exploded. They intentionally blur the line between dirty and completely dead. They demand $800 to physically reach a tiny metal tip. This elaborate financial extortion scheme terminates right here. And now, we are clearing that microscopic blockage with pure thermal chemistry. You do not need ultrasonic sound waves to clean carbon. You simply need the correct extreme, temperature molecular binding agent. We are utilizing racing chemistry to bypass their labor trap. This $3 liquid is absolutely not a cheap alcohol additive. It is a highly concentrated, pure polyetheramine chemical detergent compound. Industrial racing engineers rely entirely on its extreme thermal stability. It is the exact extreme chemistry deployed on grueling racetracks. When you pour this liquid directly into your gas tank, it mixes quietly with the raw gasoline in the reservoir. The raw chemical possesses an incredibly high thermal survival rate. The mechanical fuel pump pushes it directly to the injectors. Standard cheap fuel additives violently burn up during engine combustion. They never actually reach the baked carbon on the tip. But polyetheramine is engineered to physically survive the 1,500-degree explosion. The extreme heat serves as the ultimate chemical thermal catalyst. The P molecules initiate a terrifying molecular assault on the carbon. It completely bypasses standard, ultrasonic, physical limitations entirely forever. The detergent molecules violently force their way into the soot. They attack and sever the rigid carbon-nitrogen chemical bonds immediately. They actively strip the baked crust layer by microscopic layer. The hardened, brittle plastic, like soot, is chemically dissolved into vapor. The microscopic injector holes are completely cleared of all obstructions. The fuel nozzle aggressively snaps back to a perfect mist. Heavy, unburned, raw fuel can no longer flood the cylinder. The humiliating engine shuddering is permanently eradicated from your commute. Massive horsepower is restored to exact factory specifications, instantly. This is an authentic, molecular, level, physical, internal restoration process. It does not merely boost octane temporarily for a day. It completely alters the physical structural environment of the nozzle. It permanently reverses 100,000 miles of thermal degradation in hours. It completely immunizes the metal against further carbon crust accumulation. The chemistry literally rejuvenates the mechanical failure point entirely. The physical polymer science is undeniably factual and heavily documented. Big Auto simply refuses to acknowledge this reality publicly today. They hide this racing chemistry strictly to sell you labor. They are utterly terrified of this exact molecular stripping agent. It instantly renders their flagship, $800 ultrasonic cleaning, completely obsolete. You are bypassing their expensive machines with raw molecular science. Analyze their parasitic corporate profit margins with absolute chilling clarity. A complete physical fuel injector replacement costs exactly $800 minimum. That expensive metal replacement chokes exactly the same way eventually. The dealership extracts a staggering 400% corporate profit margin. The specialized engine technician bills $150 per H are in labor. They bolt down the exact same vulnerable factory metal nozzles. They purposefully lay the exact same trap for the next commuter. Now evaluate the suppressed racing chemical stripping solution completely. The highly concentrated pure polyetheramine liquid costs exactly $3. It permanently fortifies the microscopic nozzles from the inside out. It requires absolutely zero expensive labor costs from a dealership. It requires exactly zero specialized heavy ultrasonic bench cleaning equipment. Old solution costs $800, 8 hours, and lasts exactly 60 months. New solution costs $3, 1 minute, and lasts completely forever. You cannot maintain a massive network of expensive diagnostic bays. You cannot fund executive bonuses and luxury corporate island retreats. If you supply a permanent $3 chemical defense mechanism completely, the mathematics expose their entire lucrative labor industry as fraud. Here is the exact, unforgiving step-by-step DIY chemical stripping protocol. You must execute these instructions with absolute, strict military precision. Drive your vehicle normally until the gas tank is nearly empty. You need the fuel light to aggressively illuminate on the dashboard. Drive the vehicle to a high-quality, top-tier commercial gas station. Park your vehicle perfectly level, right next to the fuel pump. Ensure the massive engine is turned completely off before starting. Put on heavy-duty nitrile gloves to protect your bare skin completely. Go into the massive local commercial auto parts store beforehand. Purchase 1 bottle of highly concentrated polyetheramine fuel system cleaner. Verify the ingredients contain active P thermal stripping agents exclusively. Do not buy simple cheap alcohol additives disguised as chemical cleaners. Open your heavy metal fuel door and remove the gas cap. Insert the long plastic bottle neck directly into the filler neck. Pour exactly 1 entire bottle of the raw solvent into the tank. Remove the plastic bottle and wipe any spilled drips completely clean. Pick up the premium, high-octane fuel nozzle from the gas pump. Fill your entire gas tank completely full with premium-grade gasoline. The high-pressure fuel violently mixes the raw chemical perfectly. Reinstall the plastic fuel cap securely and tighten it perfectly snug. Start the massive engine and pull onto the fast highway. You must drive the vehicle aggressively over the next hour. The chemical requires sustained high RPM to generate stripping heat. This continuous heat forces the heavy molecules deep into the carbon. Keep the engine above 3,000 revolutions per minute consistently for 30 miles. You will violently notice the terrifying engine hesitation completely vanish. The massive fuel mist is completely restored tight inside the block. You have successfully rebuilt your injectors chemically from the inside. The Misfire codes will permanently erase themselves from the computer. You just robbed the dealership of $800 using pure chemistry. This is how you dominate the modern automotive repair cartel. Never let a mechanic touch your fuel rail ever again. You hold the absolute power of thermochemical stripping today. The microscopic carbon shadows are completely annihilated from existence. Your engine breathes raw fire with absolute structural perfection again. This is a ruthless declaration of war against planned mechanical obsolescence. This is a calculated rebellion against orchestrated automotive fragility today. Historical racing machinery was built to survive absolute, grueling endurance. Modern automotive engineering is designed to quietly extract your wealth. They want you entirely paralyzed by your own complex commuter vehicle. They need you completely dependent on their expensive specialty ultrasonic cleaners. They pray you never uncover basic extreme thermal P chemistry. But today, you seized your absolute mechanical power back completely. You permanently cured an $800 crisis with a cheap $3 bottle. You kept your hard-earned cash away from a predatory corporate cartel. You must distribute this video to every single driver you know. Send it to anyone facing a massive fuel injector labor ransom. Every single time you share this, a predatory dealership loses profit. We are starving the parasitic financial system, one vehicle at a time. We are resurrecting the classified racing mechanical knowledge of the past. Do not let this vital survival blueprint die in the dark algorithm. Take absolute command of your own mechanical destiny, right now. Stop serving as a helpless financial victim to the automotive cartel. The dark era of blind consumer compliance is completely over today. You are now armed with the exact forbidden molecular science. Next week, we attack the massive engine valvetrain repair industry. I will reveal the $4 chemical that permanently silences lifter tick. I will expose the engineered mechanical trap they carefully set. Get ready to completely armor your own internal combustion engine.